All right, let's move on to the next one. We're going on to the 6-note away major, or 9-note away major 6. All right, so this interval is the same on the major scale as it is here with the Lydian. This 6 represents the 6th position relative to the 1st position in Lydian. This 9 represents the actual distance in our unit of measure half steps. Remembering that when we look at the interval of the 6th, then when we do a chord construction, we can't use the even number. We have to convert it into an odd number. We have the 1, 3, 5, and then 7. That's the last of our positions. So then we go back to the 2, which is equivalent to the 9. The 4 would be equivalent to the 11. And then the 6 is going to be equivalent to the 13. So we're looking at a 9-note away major 6, which we can also call a 9-note away major 13 from a chord construction standpoint. All right, so let's do this. So we're going 9 notes away. So if I go in front of it, that's going to be too far this way. So if I wrap this string in a circle, it would be 12 minus 9 to get the inverse distance, which would be a distance of 9, 10, 11, 12, 3. So I'm going to go behind it, 3 notes behind it. So that means that the inverse of a 9-note away major 6 would be a 3-note away minor third, noting that the inverse distance of a major is a minor, the inverse of a minor, a major. So if I'm here, I go 3 notes back. We go to this D, so 1, 2, 3, boom. So if I went from the D to the F, measuring from the D, it would be a 3-note away minor third, and therefore, maybe my pinky would be better. If I go from the F to the D, that must be a 9-note away major 6 then. All right, let's go above it. So if we go above it, we're looking for the D up top. So I have to go to the inverse distance. So a 9-note away major 6, which would be a 9-note away major 13, has an inverse distance of 12 minus 9, which is going to be 3. So if I go up, I have to go this way across the fault line to get to a 5 because this tectonic plate shifted to the right. Therefore, I'm going to call this -5, -4, -3. So let's count it up. We're going to go from here, -5, and then -5, 4, and then 3. So boom, boom. So top to bottom would be a 3-note away minor third, and therefore from bottom to top would be a 9-note away major 6. Okay, so that means that if I go up 1 string and cross the fault line, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will be 1 fret forward. But normally I wouldn't cross the fault line. So for example, if I was down on the bottom string, if I was here on this F, then it would be right here. And if I was on like this F, then it would be right here. That shape should most likely look most familiar from the perspective of the D to the F, which would be the minor third distance, which looks like a major third distance here because of the fault line. And then we're looking at the inverse, which of course would be the 9-note away major 6. So that means that if I go up 1 string, the 9-note away major 6 will usually be 2 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which only happens on the B string, which happens to be the one I'm on, in which case if I go up 1 string and cross the fault line, the 9-note away major 6, which we can also call the 9-note away major 13, will be 1 fret forward. All right, let's go up 2 frets. Try to crank this out a little bit faster, crank this crap out a little bit faster here. But I can't, I don't have any food. I need food. That's okay. We're going to crank crap out anyways. Gonna go up 2 strings. Let's go up here to the a D. So this was the one that's right in the middle. So we probably want to go forward here. And then it has a unilateral distance or equilateral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, then we're going to have 6 frets forward and backwards. This is an equal distance either way. Most likely we're probably not going to use this interval a lot because it's a stretch, but this is the furthest distance away that you can basically get. So if I was to count this out, I'm looking for a 9-note away major 6, so 12 minus 9 is going to be 3, so I'm looking for an inverse distance of 3, -5, -10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's count it out this way. We're going to say -5, -10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So here from boom, boom, you can barely reach it even though it's 6 notes away because we're on the high end of the guitar. So if I went from this D to then that F, that would then be a 3-note away minor third. If I go from the bottom to the top, the F to the D, oh, F, that's not right. That then would be a 9-note away major 6. So that means if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 9-note away major 6 will be 6 frets forwards and therefore must also be 6 frets back. But I wouldn't cross the fault line if I started above the fault line on like the G or the D string, for example. So if I was on this, well, I'll leave that there. If I was on this string, then we can look for an F here, and it would be a shorter distance going back now because this fault line shifted the root to the right. So now it's only 5 frets back, which is basically reachable. So that means normally if I go up 2 strings, the 9-note away major 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which would happen if I go on the bottom 2 strings, the B or the E, in which case if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 9-note away major 6 will be 6 frets back and 6 frets forward. Therefore, going forward in that case might be the way to go because you're possibly able to reach it more likely that way because it's higher up on the shorter frets of the guitar. Okay, that's the long one. That's the tough one. Let's go up to the next one. This one more familiar to us. So if we go up 3 strings, so now we're looking for the 6-note away major 6 or 6-note away major 13. Inverse distance is 12 minus 6, which is going to be a distance of 3. We have to count diagonally so we can get to 5 here, -5, -10, -15. Only 12 notes in the musical alphabet, so 15 minus 12 is -3. So if I was to go from here, -5, -10, -15, 15 minus 12 is 3. So if I went from this D to the F, that would be a 3-note away minor third, and therefore the F to the D would be a 9-note away major 6. Therefore, if I go up 3 strings and cross the fault line, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will be 1 fret back. I wouldn't cross the fault line if I started on the G, which is the only one of the 3 options that I have the opportunity to go up 3 strings. So this is kind of like the oddball, but I'm going to still think of it as the default. So if I was on this F, and I went up 3 strings, it would be on the same fret. So the general rule is if I go up 3 strings, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will be on the same fret unless I cross the fault line, which would happen 2 out of 3 times possible to go up 3 strings on the bottom B and high E pitched E string, in which case if I go up 3 strings and cross the fault line, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will be 1 fret back. All right, let's go up to the next one. Up to this one, we're going to go up here, okay? So now I'm looking for the 9-note away major 6 or 9-note away major 13. I'm looking for the inverse distance. Now, I might be able to say I'm on the top string. Let's find it on the bottom string. That would be easier because that way I wouldn't have to look for an inverse distance. Therefore, I can just look for 9 notes away, and I wouldn't have to cross the fault line. I could just count directly below it to get to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if it's a D here, it's going to be a D on the top string. If I counted out on the top string, I would have to take the inverse distance, 12 minus 9, which would be 3. So I'm going to say -5, -10, -15. 15 minus 12 is -3, plus another 5 is 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So let's count it out this way. So I'm going to say -5, -10, -15. 15 minus 12 is -3, plus another 5 is -8. -8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Boom, boom. So if I play from this D to the F, that would then be a 3-note away minor third. If I go from the bottom to the top, therefore, that would be a 9-note away, which would be a major 6. Let's go to the one below it, which we saw already. If I go below it, And by the way, that means that if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 strings, I will always cross the fault line because I can't go up 4 strings without crossing the fault line, and therefore the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will always be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets forward. All right, let's go below it. It's going to be right here. So now I'm going to say if I go down 1 string, I don't have to take the inverse distance. So I'm just going to look for 9 notes away instead of 12 minus 9 or 3 notes away. So I'm just going to say 5. I don't have to take a diagonal distance because I'm not crossing the fault line. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I am here, we're going to say 5 right below it, 6, 7, 8, 9. So top to bottom would be a 9-note away major 6, and therefore, of course, the inverse bottom to top would be a 3-note away minor 3rd. Therefore, if I go up 1 string, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which would only happen on the G string. So if I was on this G string and I went forward, then it would be out to here, which is a little bit longer of a reach because the destination got shifted out to the right due to this fault line shifting to the right. So the general rule, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, if I go down 1 string, will usually be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which only happens on the G string, in which case if I go down 1 string, the 9-note away major 6, which could also be called the 9-note away major 13, will be 1, 2, 4, 5 frets forward. Okay,